Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, bringing you guys my first impressions review of the upcoming Special Super Battleship, the Satsuma. So the Satsuma is, of course, the co-part of the Hanover in the Super Battleship event. It is essentially a Giga Shikishima with another turret on the end. And she's got a lot of firepower, a whole lot, with those 8 20-inch guns. Now, of course, she is going to be available in the Super Battleship event in the new game mode Grand Battles. You do, of course, have to collect these intelligent reports to play her or the Hanover. And right now, you need 16. Today, you only need 14. I'm not sure if they cranked it down a little bit or what, but you need 14 or 16, it seems, of those intelligent reports to take either of these ships into battle. But we'll talk more about that in a minute. But for now, we're going to look at the Hanover and her armor and her stats and such. Again, no commander skills are applied, nor modules equipped. So let's go ahead and take a look at her. Hopefully this Cabaldos battle will be over with by the time we get done doing this. I can just go hop into battle with her. Alright, so her armor, 32 millimeter bow, 32 millimeter plating on the side, 32 millimeter stern, 45 millimeter aft deck plating, 57 millimeter strip there, 57 millimeter central deck, and 45 millimeter side deck armor. 45 there, 57 millimeter strip there, and then 32 on the front. So not that great of armor compared to the Hanover. The Hanover's got a lot of 35 and 60 millimeter plating, and then 180 millimeter on the side. So yeah, the deck armor is better in some places. It's a little bit thicker, but yeah. All right, so let's see what her Citadel looks like. So is it just... Yeah, it's a supersized Yamato Citadel, which means from close range, this is just going to get absolutely bullied by, well, everything, and it's going to have the cheek there too. So not a big surprise there. That's pretty much what I expected, since this is essentially, of course, a elongated and stretched out Yamato. So yeah, her guns, we've got 650 millimeter on the face, 290 millimeter roof, 270 millimeter top plate, side plates are 250 millimeter, and the rear is 250. All right. So definitely lacking in the armor department, but again, that's pretty run-of-the-mill for these Yamato-based ships. All right, so her guns, of course, she has 8 510 millimeter 20-inch guns with a 34-second reload time, a 180 time of 60 seconds, and a maximum dispersion of 278 meters, a 40% chance starting fire per HE shell, and a maximum HE shell damage of 8,100. The rest of it's pretty much just the Shikishima's guns in terms of performance. So 19,400 for the maximum AP shell pin, maximum range of 27 kilometers base. That's actually very nice. An initial AP and HE shell velocity of 765 meters a second. So the secondary gun she has, these are pretty, I do believe these are the same type of guns, the turret's a little bit different, that the Harugumo gets. They pin 30 millimeters of armor, these 100 millimeter secondaries. They have a 7-second reload time, 6% chance starting fire, maximum range of 7.3 kilometers, and a velocity of 1,000 meters a second. And then she has 8 of these 203s. They reload in 12 seconds. They have a 17% chance starting a fire, maximum HE shell damage of 3,300, and a pinning capability of 34 millimeters. So you get 14 of these 100 millimeter guns, by the way. And, oh yeah, look, right, literally right next to it. There's the Harugumo guns. So yeah, now these secondaries, these are what made the Shikishima such a good secondary ship, because you got 30 millimeters of pin on these guns, so you could take that and be pretty decent in terms of pinning capability at tier 10, and they were very accurate, and they had a very quick reload time when you would build into them. So you had fantastic protection against all destroyers, most cruisers. And then when you ran across battleships, the guns would fire so fast with that 6% chance starting a fire, higher if you built into it, that you could have a pretty good chance of burning those ships down, on top of course, 20-inch guns as well. Alright, so for the AA, we have 30 of these triple 25mm guns, those standard Japanese AA guns, and then 20 of these dual-mounted 40mm guns, and then the 100mm secondaries are dual-purpose AA. Alright, they have a maximum range of 5.8 kilometers, not the longest, not the shortest. She has a maximum speed of 27 knots, a turning circle radius of 1,020 meters, a rush time of 22 seconds. And she has a concealment range base of 17.9 kilometers by sea and 15.2 by air. Alright, so this ship, I actually really like the way this ship looks. It looks just so meaty. Like, it's this super pagoda, whatever you want to call it, does a lot for making this ship look very, very mean and also kind of top heavy too. But yeah, I really do like the way this ship looks. Alright, let's go take a look at her equipment. So you can take spotter, I guess, if you want to cover the whole map with your guns. Get a heal, 596 HP per second. It's active for 28 seconds and reloads in 80 seconds. You get 4 base. So her adjustment fire mechanic, or I guess how they're calling it now, special combat instructions. This decreases the maximum dispersion of your main battery shells by 35%. After you fill up that bar, it's active for 50 seconds. So realistically, you can only get like 1 salvo out of that. Maybe 2 if you're low health. So not sure how useful that's going to be. I think a reload speed boost would be a bit more beneficial, but I mean, the accuracy boost definitely makes sense since you're pretty much dialing the guns. And there's that capital S game we unfortunately lost. But that means we have enough reports now to take the ship in the battle. But anyway, yeah. So that's what her special ability is. So I'm going to go ahead and module her and kit her out with a commander. And I'll see you guys right back here. Alrighty. So for the module build, I went with Main Armaments Mod 1, Damage Con 1, Aiming Systems Mod 1, Damage Con 2, Concealment, and then Main Battery Mod 3. I'm going to keep the spotting plane on here, and with the range that the ship already has, I don't think taking the range module is going to really benefit us much at all, unless you just want to shoot from A1 to J10 for some reason. So yeah. Alright, for the commander, I went with Preventive Maintenance, MLG Turrets, Adrenaline Rush, Basics of Survivability, Superintendent, Concealment, and of course Fire Prevention. So now for our guns, we have a 29.9 second reload time on the guns, and her dispersion is now down to 259 meters. Our 180 times down to 57.5 seconds, and our concealment range is now down to 14.5 kilometers by sea, which for a ship of this size is actually really freaking good. So yeah, now unfortunately, because in order to get these intelligent reports, you have to play the mode. I'm only going to have 1 game in the Satsuma. With the Hanover, I was able to have 2 because they start you off with 21 reports. So I only had to play 3 games to get enough reports to hop back into the Hanover for a second run. But with Satsuma here, unfortunately, I'm a little bit pressed for time because we're still in school in June. So yeah, I don't have a lot of free time just yet, just another week or so, and I will. But unfortunately, it's just going to be 1 game. I'm going to hope it's a decently lengthy game to where I can get a pretty good feel for the ship and all that. But I'm going to go ahead, hop into battle, and I'll meet you guys there and a voiceover. Alright guys, voiceover Mountbatten here. And the Satsuma, she's pretty darn good. So if you enjoy the type of medium to long range gameplay of the Yamato and the Shikishima and the Musashi, you know what you're getting here in the Satsuma. Pretty much in terms of gun performance, with the build that I had on her at least, it felt like a more accurate Shikishima. There weren't very many salvos that went all over the place at all. It was all pretty much spot on. And the build that I have on her right now, I think is probably the best. I think just the best overall, because with its range, it's 27-kilometer range. When you pop that spotter plane, good lord, you can reach literally the other side of the map from the other side of the map with that spotter plane just about. So I don't really think there's a need for the range mod unless you just want to take the fighter for whatever reason, which is a very valid point because these are very large ships and they are very acceptable to carrier-based aircraft. But with the build that I had on it, I was able to pull this match off, which was a fantastic match. Came pretty well within about 50k of beating my all-time damage record. Granted, I'm into something with 8 20-inch guns, so there's certainly that to take into account. So the Satsuma definitely is the heavier hitter between the Hanover and the Satsuma. Obviously, I mean, Hanover's got 19-inch guns, Satsuma has 20-inch guns. Naturally, it's going to put up more damage with its main battery guns, and its guns are even more accurate than the Hanover's guns. Secondaries, didn't get to use them at all, but they are the Shikishima secondaries, and if they behave just like the Shikishima secondaries, right now, probably not worth building into because of the accuracy. Now, the fire adjustment mechanic or boost or bonus, whatever you want to call it, it was more useful than I thought, honestly. I thought it was going to be very just like, okay, you get one salvo where the dispersion's kind of nice and then that's it. Well, good lord, I was able to cram 2 full rounds from each set of the turrets out of them when this boost was activated. At one point, there was one point where I believe my front guns were loaded, but my back guns were about 15 seconds behind, and I managed to start it with a salvo from the front guns, and then the back guns got the boost, and the front guns got the boost again, and they both got 2 rounds out of them. And I was surprised I was able to do that. But yeah, when that boost is active, good God, I got like I think a 30,000 salvo off of another Satsuma with no citadels, just pure freaking pins. So yeah, this thing shells when they're accurate. Hand of frickin' God. The Hanover, I said I didn't think it'd be a big deal if they wound up adding the Hanover to like the game as like a tier 10 premium ship or maybe a tier 11 premium ship, if so many people have been talking about, because its main battery guns, they hit pretty hard, but they weren't 20-inch. They didn't do an insane amount of damage, and it was big, and you could easily set it on fire. The Satsuma, if they added in as is, I think it would be a problem because of just how accurate these things' guns are and just how powerful they are too. And not to mention too, with the build that I have on here as well, you get a 29-second reload time, so a sub 30-second reload time by 0.1 seconds with 8 20-inch guns that are this accurate. So yeah, I don't think this one's going to find its way into the game outside of this event unless they do a bit of nerfing to it. But anyway, besides that, armor-wise, again, if you've played Niami, Shikishima, and Musashi, you know what you're getting here. You're just a bigger target. You do definitely eat more damage than the Hanover does, of course, because you don't have all that nice plating in the front of your ship. And, I mean, it's 32 still. It's not 35 like the Hanover is for the most part. Now, the Hanover's 35 can, of course, be overmatched by the Satsuma's 20-inch guns or the Shikishima's 20-inch guns. But, yeah, but it's a large Shikishima. That's what it is. And it feels like a large Shikishima, just with more consistent guns. Not necessarily more accurate, but definitely more consistent, from my experience at least. And if you're listening Wargaming, this ship deserves the Shikishima gun sound effects. I mean, they're the same guns from the Shikishima. They should sound like the Shikishima. I don't know why they're giving them this. This isn't even the Yami's gun sound effect. It's just, I think, the large gun sound effect that isn't the Yami's or the Shikishimas. It definitely deserves it, with, again, it literally being the Shikishima's guns. So, between the two, which one should you play when the event comes out? Well, if you like brawling, take the Hanover. If you like mid to long range sniping, take the Satsuma. Both are pretty fun. I think you should at least give one each a whirl when the event comes out. Now, giving them a whirl, that's the part that's going to be a little bit painful. Now, in the PT server, you have to get 16 or 14 intelligence reports. A thing to keep in mind is that most items and events and grinds on the PT server are sped up. If you remember the Puerto Rico disaster, that's exactly what happened. The Puerto Rico looked like it was fairly doable on the PT server with the directives there, but when it came on the live server, the directives were much, much, much tougher. So this could mean that we may have to get 20 or 30 of these intelligent reports to get the Satsuma or the Hanover. I don't think that's a good idea if that's the case. I don't know if they've said, yeah, it's going to be 16, yeah, it's going to be 14, or anything like that. I don't know. But right now, 16, I mean, that takes me playing about an hour. And that's just me going in and not really trying to go too hard because it's the PT server. I'm just trying to get in the ships. So that's just me going in, kind of just playing pretty chill, not playing super hard. And like you guys saw with the Calvados match, I mean, we got through almost all of the Satsuma stats, which normally takes about 8 or 9 minutes. And I already been out of match for about 2 minutes before that. So that was a full 20-minute match. I played in it for about 7-8 minutes. So that match when it's full duration. That's just one. So you'll need about, if it's 16, you'll need about 6 or 8 matches to get these reports. If it's 17, you'll need about, 6 or 7, again, depending upon how many they start you out with and things like that. So that's about an hour's worth of game time just to play one round in one of these ships. I think it needs to be dialed back down to like maybe 10 or 9. 9 would be pretty good because that means you get 3 per match. You play 3 matches, get a round in the Satsuma or the Hanover, you gotta go play 3 more matches. And I get that, they need to populate these matches with tier 10 and tier 9 ships. Not everyone can be selling in a super battleship, and they want to draw people to the game mode. So they have to do that to where people are playing in tier 9 and tier 10 ships to populate that mode. I get it completely why they have to do it. I just think it's too much of a grind right now. So yeah, that's really my biggest issue with this mode. Because besides that, it's been a really fun mode. These are some really just insane ships, some fun ships that, Wargaming kind of just said, screw it, let's see how ridiculous we can go. And they're fun. It's fun to play in a Satsuma. It's fun to play in a Hanover. And have the Satsuma be the hand of God and have the Hanover just being a brick wall of secondaries and 19-inch German gloriousness. It's a fun game mode. So that's what I think about this. The Satsuma, definitely the heavier hitter between the two. But of course, for me, I'll probably be playing most of my matches in the Hanover. I may pop in the Satsuma every now and then. Again, depending upon how much the grind is too, that is of course another factor to consider here. But yes, something that many of you may not know, up until very recently, Yamato was my most played ship. Surprise, surprise. Most of you probably thought it was the GK. It's the GK now, but up until I think 2 months ago, yeah, apparently I was a Yamato main and not a GK main. So yeah, pretty interesting look back on that and how well I did in the Satsuma in this round. But yeah, anyway, guys, again, that's what I think about this mode. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you planning on participating in this mode? We don't know about the rewards yet. They didn't mention any. But with some of the damage you can do in the freaking Satsuma and Hanover, I mean, this was almost a 3,000 base XP game here. So I think just the freaking credit and XP and Commander XP and free XP gain might be just enough to keep people going. Because again, if they keep it like it is, this is like a farmer's paradise almost. Well, then again too, if you go in here with like a good HE ship like a Zhao, Yoshino, Goliath, or heck, probably even a Cab or a Kleber, you can burn down these special ships pretty easily and get a pretty good damage number out of that as well. So heck, it may just be a farmer's paradise. We'll see when it comes out. But anyway, guys, again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We are still doing the giveaways. We have 2 more ships to give away, but I've ran into a bit of an issue. I don't know if it's Wargaming's website or what. But apparently I get this error message that, and I'll throw it up on the screen here, that something's gone wrong. Wait 10 or 20 more minutes and try again. I tried that all over the weekend, but it's of course Memorial Day weekend, so no one's getting in touch with me with my bank or my card company because of that. When this video comes out, it'll be Tuesday. Mail will be solved by then, but we are still doing the giveaways. We just ran into a hiccup here. Again, I don't know if it's my bank or my card company or Wargaming, so we'll find out soon, and we'll get those giveaways going again. I do apologize for the break in those giveaways. I wanted to do them 5 days in a row, but I did 3, and now, well, I did 2. We're waiting on this issue to get it resolved to do the 3rd, and then we got 2 more to give away. So I do apologize for that, but that's where we're at with that right now. A lot of you guys have been emailing me and messaging me on Discord asking about it, so that's where that's at. But anyway, guys, again, hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way now to 20, oh, well, not 25. We're on our way to 30,000 subs. We just passed 26,000 a few days ago, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Again, hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.